Hello everyone. I would like to tell you or share with you a story from my past life on Alpha Centauri. I feel very privileged. I have a lot of very good memories to call upon from this existence. Memories of my home. I recall a time when I was in lessons with my parents. We were sitting and there was a hologram displaying the various star systems I was learning about. Both my parents taught me everything until I went into the equivalent of university. I was very young, about 9 I would say would be the relative equivalent. I was a little boy, yet I was more cognizant than I am here, even way more learned at that age than any adult that is here on Terra. I was learning about Terra and Mars through this hologram. It was then it dawned on me, at this age, I had wanted to become a pilot. I had realized my profession at an early age, and it was encouraged and fostered in me, and I was able to fulfill my dream gladly. My parents were concerned, which is completely understandable, since choosing this profession, it started a chain of events that led me to crashing here. The lesson was ended. They spoke diligently. They never argued with one another. My well-being was of concern. It's almost as if they knew of the situation, or maybe it was just the fact that it was a problem area at the time and that I was fascinated with it. In this lesson, I was confused and not completely understanding. So I was asked by them to go play. I did so. I loved playing. Most of my day was that. Everything in the learning session was so condensed to the point and loaded with information based on a simple language, you could condense a lot in a short period. I went to school maybe for 3 hours approximately at a time. The rest of the day was spent playing and enjoying myself. The speaking in language here is too slow, and it is disorganized intentionally to cause misunderstanding. Well, I recall then I went outside, my friends were waiting patiently for me. Nothing was done even amongst us youngsters in a rush. It seemed like we were always centered and we were always balanced, and I recall in this memory feeling a profound sense of love and energy within my being. And there were no extenuating control factors that I felt limited by. That is the single most important thing I recall. And I also feel the energy when I do Reiki these days. Here on Terra, it's very similar. It is the universal energy that one is tapping into. The same energy I felt then, the same energy I feel now. Going back to the story. Okay. None of us youngsters did anything in a rush. There also was no segregation. Girls and boys played together. We lived in communities spread out. I guess you would call it farms or houses, a couple miles spread out. There was no crowding like there is here. Some closer, some more far based on preference. I recall in this memory the grasses seem to be brown. For some reason, when I think of my home world, the world I had originated from before coming here, I think of fall time. It always reminds me of my home. Getting back to the story, the game we played when I had went outside to meet with my peers, the game we played as children was not based upon competition or leverage or who is better than someone else. There was no favoritism. The game fostered communication, cooperation, camaraderie, and other virtues and self-development. Everything was organized for self-mastery. You taught yourself. You had assistance and guidance, but you were left to your own devices. But the main aim of this game, of this sport, was to develop coordination too. It was like stickball, the game. I had a loop placed on the end of a stick. You had to get the ball in between the loop. The loop could be made larger or smaller, so children of all levels and age range could play and adjust themselves accordingly to the game. They could run further or closer. We worked together in this game. Everyone had a chance. We anticipated the age and skill of another player and acted accordingly. It taught us responsibility. We took turns throwing and receiving the ball. The loop would catch the ball. It was kind of like the game lacrosse. I had a lot of fun. The memory shifts. I recall another friend, I guess, coming along on what I would describe as a hover bike, for lack of better terminology. It was like a tan color, and it didn't disrupt any of the ground or anything of that nature. It's not like a quad ripping through the bush, that's for sure. And I hopped on, and we were off. Like all kids, I was still developing. I took a bit of a tumble. Within seconds, it was all telepathic communication. An adult was there to check up on the situation. Everyone worked together. It took a community to raise a child. My point is, everything here has been organized to make people turn on one another. We need to go back to helping each other. That is where happiness is. Every kind gesture is never a waste. There are some days I miss my family. I just want to go home so badly. But I feel it is my charge to keep, to be here and affect as much change as possible for the better. This life matters here and now. It is hard, but in doing so, I find solace in the fact I am utilizing my best efforts to achieve a goal of self-mastery. And in conclusion, I guess I found out early on in a lot of my lives here, it was a bit of a waste of time and energy to focus on changing others. I guess the best thing I had learned is just focus on being positive. Focus on being true to yourself. That's the biggest thing one can do. final statement: ETs are not simply out there somewhere. We are your sisters, brothers, fathers, mothers, cousins. We are right beside you because we love you. Farewell.